Mike, it is so good to see you. So, how are you
Yes,
doing?
not too bad. All is well. I'm doing great. I just had my YouTube running in the background. Just shut it off. Yeah, I'm doing great, man. How are you, Steve? How are things?
Brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, I've had a awesome day. I've been with doing some health stuff. I've been sharing with you. So yeah, it's great. Excited for your project, and there's tons of stuff coming out. Got Phoenix tomorrow. Your
Yes,
project
on
Matrix
the
on the 17th,
17th. Yes,
and then we got Stacks on the 22nd. Go X on the 28th.
yes.
Avengers. Starts with an A. There's one that starts with an A,
Yeah, yeah.
and one that starts with an M. I forget the name. So, Michi or something. But
Mizuchi or something
yeah,
like
yeah, that's the
Mizuchi?
one. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
one.
yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
Matrix is coming, and man, so
Yes.
it's been. I know you've been working very hard and lots of testing. How's the whole process been?
Yeah, the process, yeah, I mean, it has been quite well. I mean, it's like I have been working on Web 2 projects before and then also worked in embedded system projects before. So,
Yeah,
like, I know more or less the process running, but now obviously with something like this, it's, these security things you need to take care of and everything. So, it's, like with Web 2, you can be like, I'm going to push the change. Oh, it doesn't work. People are reporting some errors. Oh, okay, no worries. I revert, change a little bit, and push it back again. And
yeah.
obviously, with smart contracts, you can't do that.
Yeah, it's a whole different. I'm also come from the Web 2 world for years and years and years. Yeah, it's a whole different ball game on Web 3. Got to get the contract perfect, and yeah, that's it. There's no going back once
This,
it's
yeah,
launched.
yeah,
It's just the
yes,
person. Yeah, it's the person and the code, and it's a beautiful thing about these projects. It's me and the code. It's us and the code in a
yes,
decentralized world.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And
yeah,
yeah, I mean, so on the front end part, yeah, there's some few changes there you can change, but the smart contract itself, essentially, just yeah, once it's done, it's done. And even if you really want it, you don't even necessarily need a front end. You can just have you can do it through Etherscan if you want as well. But that's more like probably for for people who really know what they're doing.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. So this is your first Web 3 project.
Essentially, yes, yes. Like for Web 3 project, that's definitely one of my first one. I have done like projects like Solidity projects before, but these were more like things to like test things out and things like that. But so this is gonna be my first project. I'm really looking forward, and yeah, looking forward to explaining to you as well today, Steve.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. Well, what was the hardest thing in development? Because you started development back in September, right?
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah.
What was the biggest challenge that you had during the whole development phase?
So the biggest challenge for me was initially like I think the biggest thing was first just the like I wanted like the testing part, right? Especially if you're doing like I wanted to work with real data, and I wanted really
Mm,
to like to be able to manipulate time back and forth and do a lot of testing. Like, is
mm,
the staking working? Is the payouts work and things like that? So I think the biggest part was more like on the testing part of things, because once you do all the functions, it's now like literally now it's just like, okay, does do the things work as you like intended to work, so
mm.
that's the big part. And then obviously going through the audits, the back and forth with the auditors and everything. So yeah, but I mean, all in all, so far things have been working well, and I'm looking forward, man, to for the launch, because I've been working on this for quite some time,
Yeah,
and yeah, finally we're here. So this is great,
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah. The testing is massive, isn't it? And there's something called for other devs. There's something called Tenderly, which I do you use Tenderly?
That's the
Tenderly,
that's the one I use. Yes, yes.
it's a really cool thing to it's even better than the Sapola testnet because it's it
Yeah.
it functions just like on the main net, and you can go back and forward in time really
I
quick.
mean, that's exactly what I use actually, because that's, I
Yeah.
mean, that is the best thing you can actually, I mean, it is one of the best. I mean, especially if even if you
Yeah.
do, like, if you do a testing with groups of people, it's just much easier because they have an explorer there as well, and it's
Yes.
you work with real data essentially, like from the
Yes.
mainnet. So it really makes sense. Tenderly is it's a great product, I have to say.
Yeah, that's for all budding developers, that's the must use for testing. Tenderly, it's
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah,
But I like
yeah,
to. It's also nice to have it on Sepola testnet just to see all the functions and going. But Tenderly's the big one. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I
very,
use
very
that.
good.
I use that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and you got
absolutely.
it audited, like a few audits.
Yes, I got audited. So the auditors are like, so all the audits came back.
Yes.
The I'm just checking one of their names. I always get their names wrong. Is the companies for the ones who did Titan Farms? Is it CN
Ooh,
Security or CD
yes.
Security?
CD Security, they are really, really good. I use
Yeah.
those ones.
Oh, you did as well, yeah?
I use those ones for everything. They're really, really good. I like them a
Fantastic.
lot.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
because they have a option. You can choose 2 or 3. So you get
Yes.
you can actually get 3 people, 3 separate auditors in one audit.
Yeah.
And even if you get the 2 option, they're really good. So
Yeah.
yeah, Eric likes them. He recommended them too
Yeah.
because
That's good.
They
That's
did
good.
Titan Farms, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah, they did Titan Farms, so I was really looking forward for that as well. I did go with the so at the end of the day, it's like 3 audits, but obviously with CD Security is 2 independent auditors, but is that one company representing those audits? But it's like 2 auditors who are sitting. But then I
Yeah.
wanted to have an extra audit who is completely independent of those as well. So I
Yes.
went with George.
He's the best. He is. I use him too. I
Yeah,
I
great.
I think we but, like, yeah, I really, really like George. He did Titan X and
Yes,
Shogun.
yes.
Jake really likes him, so does Eric. And they are George and CD Security are like 2 of the most really expensive ones too. So they're really good. They've got some good auditors there.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, they're very expensive. Compared to
I
a lot of auditors, they're like 3 times more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I didn't want to save on that front. Like, I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah. I mean, the only thing
Absolutely.
I saved
I
was, I
agree.
don't know, like try to save as much sleep as I can. Like, I mean, that's
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah,
yeah.
just find the best auditors you can. That
Yes.
saves your sleep. That will
Yeah,
save your sleep.
exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, that was essentially it, right? It's like, hey, man, like try to get the best people to do all the audits so that you actually, yeah, I mean, so you're sure this thing is running. I mean, do everything you can on your end to get this thing right. And that's exactly what I did. So I think CD Security and George, I think, yeah, I think those are like pretty good auditors who, I mean, as you said, you use them yourself, and
Yeah.
Titanix use them as well. So
Yeah. Yeah. They're definitely tough. They're busy, they're tough to get.
yes,
But good. It's great to hear.
yeah.
So, what was the thing you enjoyed the most about your development phase?
What was the thing which I enjoyed the most?
Yeah.
I mean, so there's like 2 things, right? I mean, one is like I like a little bit of like the technical things, right? I mean,
Mm.
one is like the technical things, like okay, how does this function? You know, like I'm kind of curious in those kind of things, right? So I mean, one of the things you hear is like what do they say? You know that meme where people says like I'm in crypto for the tech,
Oh, yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, but
Got
then
big got yeah.
and then the guy was like with gold chains, but I'm here for the tech. But the thing is, right, yes, obviously, like, I mean, want to make money, that's one, but obviously, like, I'm also very curious about the tech as well, right? So this was like something very curious for me to work on this kind of stuff,
Mm.
because my curiosity was pretty good on that front. So I think I really enjoyed that front. And then working with my designer as well, who also did Titanic's up, by the way. Um, that's also something. I've been working with him for,
Nice.
I don't know, the last 5 years or so, more on Web2 projects, to be honest. But now, like, yeah, he did Titanic's up. So that was like the first crypto related stuff. and then obviously he did the Matrix as well. And I think now there are some few projects out there which are using him as well. So that's good too, because I mean I think he does a great job. And yeah, I mean I think some of the I'm not sure. I mean, there are some projects. I don't want to mention them. I'm not sure if they want to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But there are definitely some few projects in the ecosystem who are using my designer. So really grateful that he can do that.
Oh yeah, nice. And so Matrix dot win, you're releasing it on the 17th. Oh, Callum
Yes.
used it too. Callum used your designer too.
Yeah, yeah. I think yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what made you choose the 17th? Was there any particular reason or date
I
or
mean,
reason that you,
yes, I mean, there's like two things regarding that. So because I am going to be staking Hyper essentially, right? So it's part of that is like if I want to be part of that next payout, essentially, like I have to do that beforehand. That's like number one. Number two is that also, um, like I mean the date itself, right? Like I mean I have to choose a date before that, and I thought like just the 17th is just the right time, so that at least you have a bit of leeway, so that you can essentially even buy up enough Hyper to even stake.
right? So 17th is Tuesday. It's coming
Yes,
Tuesday. Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Is it a time that's going to be launched, by the way?
Yes, time. I mean, right now I just set it at as 5 p.m. 5 p.m. UTC or GMT.
Right, right. And I wanted to ask, is there an advantage for coming in day one, like straight away in day one?
So, is there an advantage directly? So, I mean, it depends on your strategy per se, because
Yes.
at the end of the day, it's like 80% of the supply will be distributed in the first 8 days, right?
Yes.
So it depends. So it's an auction system, right? Uh,
Mm,
so the question is like, okay, what is like your strategy, right? I mean, one strategy could just be, I don't know, you just DCA in those 8 days, maybe, or you even DCA longer if you want to. But essentially, those 8 days, maybe. Um, that would be like one strategy. I mean, there's other strategies out there. People have been playing with different auction system already, so
right.
maybe yeah, people
Mm,
know their strategies a bit more. But I mean, the
yeah.
DCA part is one of the things, and essentially, when you like the strategy is because there is a patient incentive pool, essentially, right? Once you have entered the auction, you automatically participate in this patient incentive pool.
I see. Okay, I'll ask you that, but I've got some questions then. I've got some more
Yeah,
questions.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
can you just if we want to step back to try and
Yes,
understand, I want to
gotcha.
understand everything about Matrix.
Yes,
What can you describe it in one word or two
in
words,
one,
2 or 3 words?
two, 3 words.
How would you describe it in 2 or 3 words?
Okay, that's a hard one, Steve.
I asked Callum one word. I thought I was rewatching the video and I thought actually that was a bit. It's a bit of a hard question to describe your protocol in one word. I was
In
thinking, how
one
would I
word.
describe Vault in one word? It's like that's tough.
It's very tough.
That's tough.
It's very
Like
tough.
it's almost the most powerful essence, of the
Yes,
project. And Callum described his Phoenix as
scarce. Okay,
scarcity. That's what he used. And he
scarcity.
was really quick. He immediately,
Okay,
it's like
really.
he already knew the answer to the question.
All right, all right. Well,
But
that's good. I guess I'm a bit slow on that one.
yeah, I mean, what I could do is I could put the white paper in ChatGPT and then just say, "Can you give me 3 words to describe it?"
Okay, okay. I mean, that would
Can
be
I do that?
interesting now to find
Give
out.
me give me 3 words to describe above. Okay,
Yes.
let's see what it comes. I just pasted your white paper. It said
Yeah,
cap.
yeah.
Oh, this is what it says.
Uh-huh.
This is good. This is good marketing material. It says capped, deflationary, incentivized.
Oh,
Oh, I like
nice.
that. I like that.
Yes.
Incentivized is that's a good word. Incentivized.
Incentivized. Yes.
So Matrix is a cap supply.
Yes.
It's deflationary, and incentivized. How is it incentivized, by the way?
So the thing is with about incentivized is that you have the patient incentive pool.
Okay, that's the incentivized part.
That's the incentive part, and the incentive part is essentially when you deposit, like when you participate in an auction system, right? Normally, like I mean, in most cases, 24 hours later, you can just claim your tokens. But what if you just don't claim them? Like, what if you just
Nice.
so my thing was just like, okay, if you don't claim your tokens, you participate in this patient incentive pool automatically, and that patient incentive pool gets fed by the buy and burn.
Beautiful. Because this is something new that we've never had before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I come in on day one,
Yes.
and is there an amount of days that I can delay delay my claim?
Essentially, there is like it's your decision to claim your tokens when you want. The only locked up period is only those at the end of the auction. After that, you can claim it at any time.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I didn't understand it until now. I did not
Yeah, no
understand it
problem.
until now.
No.
I love it. So you can enter this patients pool,
Yes.
and you can claim your tokens anytime you want. Can I claim it on day 2 if
You
I
can
enter day
claim
1?
on day 2, you can claim on day 365, like whatever date you can claim. But you participate, the longer you wait, essentially, the longer you're participating in this patient incentive pool. And maybe I think the best way is I'm going to share my screen,
Oh, yeah.
and probably we're going to explain it a little bit better. Yeah, let's just jump in straight to the patient incentive pool, because I think this is the one what most people are have been asking some of the questions, because there is a bit of game theory here a little bit, right? So the patient incentive pool is basically here, and it gets fed by the buy and burn. So this is the matrix buy and burn here, right? The matrix buy and burn gets fed by the Titanics, which is coming in from the auctions, and then also from the payouts. So there's like two streams of how the buy and burn gets fed. So that's a bit of background for context. But you have here the matrix buy and burn. As long as this is running, so whenever the buy and burn activates every time, it basically buys up matrix. Not 100% of that gets burned. 5% of that goes to this patient incentive pool. And the way this patient incentive pool gets filled up, so it just starts filling up, and you as a user, proportionally to their share of the unclaimed tokens, right? Because you get, like, whenever you participate in the auction, you essentially, like, you're part of that pool, and proportionally to everybody else is this is how much you have, essentially. So if you have 10% of the tokens which are unclaimed, like 10, whatever, like if you have 10%, if you have 10% of the tokens which are unclaimed, then you have 10% of the pool, essentially.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah. But there is a bit of difference here now, Steve. I think this is something which also you have to understand. Oh, look here. Callum is saying
Interesting.
innovative, synergistic, deflationary. Oh, look
I
at
like
that.
it. I like it. This is good stuff. Good marketing stuff.
I think, yes, I have to probably start using some of that. Some of that. Yeah.
Fine.
So let me okay. So here, imagine you're participating on day 1, right? And let's say I don't know, you have 5% of the pool. Like, I mean, you have 5% of the unclaimed tokens, because if you claim the next day, then you are directly out of the patient incentive pool.
You're out straight away. And
if you claim your tokens, you'll be out of that.
okay, so I've got to hold my tokens 24 hours, right? To get any.
I mean, okay, let me probably circle back a little bit.
Yeah.
When you participate in Vault, right? Let's say in an auction system, You can claim your tokens 24 hours later. Here is that if you wait longer, now it depends how long do you wait. This is it's going to be your choice how long you're going to wait. The way it works is the following. There is this patient incentive pool gets filled up by the buy and burn, but there is only every day there's only a particular percentage allocation which will be used if you choose to claim on that day. So it's, imagine, let's put it this way. I think I tried to explain it yesterday with the pizza on Mo's stream. Imagine in the beginning there's like, I don't know, there's like one pizza and it's slowly starting getting bigger and bigger. And whatever share you have of that pizza, at some point you can say, you know what, I want to get out. So you're going to get your piece of that pizza. You're going to get it out. And the people you left behind, they have a bigger share now. And that pizza keeps growing. So the allocation of the tokens, which are the balance of the patient incentive pool, starts growing every day. So the longer you wait, the longer the patient incentive pool allocation goes up.
Oh yeah, right. I see.
And as people exit, you who are left behind, you have a bigger share now.
Wow.
So this is something I think some people, when I explain this, they say it's like, oh, this is like WhatsApp. That's what people said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know exactly how WhatsApp was, but I think this was something. I think you've been in WhatsApp, right?
Yes, I was really into Hex and Icosa and Hedron back in the day. And so I had my Watsas. And Watsas interesting. You held it, you got a yield every day of Icosa, but it only got distributed to Watsa holders, and you had to burn your Watsa to claim it, to claim your token. But this is
different. But it's the same. But this is very similar here.
It's like a game of chicken, like cryptographic says. It's a game of chicken, but it's designed differently than a Watsa. It's really, really interesting. So after, if I have to basically hold it 369 days to get my 100% share, if I had held 10%. So I had 10% of the tokens, I would get 10% of the pool on day 369.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. So yeah. Exactly, yeah. So day 369, all of the tokens, if you decide to exit, will be, so you're gonna get the pizza is gonna be the full pizza essentially. That whatever is in that patient incentive pool, you can exit at the time. But the thing is, the patient incentive pool is not static. It gets fed by the buy and burn at all times.
Yeah, I love it. This is really interesting game theory, because you have to claim you have to claim your tokens. And
if you want to have your tokens liquid, you need to claim.
Yes.
But when you claim, the people who are left behind, they have a bigger share now of the pool.
I love it.
They can wait longer. I mean, this is now depends, like, okay, how much is going to be in the patient incentive pool? I don't know. Like, I mean, the buy and burn will be going, and it depends, right? So the balance of patient incentive pool will fluctuate, right? Because as people exit, they take their share out, or they take their tokens out, so it's gonna drop. But since the buy and burn is running, it's also gonna go. It's gonna go up as well. So there's like three things moving here. One, the patient incentive pool allocation, which starts growing. In the beginning, it's gonna be very slow, obviously, because so it's gonna be like from 0 to like 1%. On day 28, and that's where also the auction ends. On day 28, the auction ends completely, and you cannot enter the patient incentive pool anymore after that.
Yeah, right.
So now everybody after the day 28, they're the one you can wait longer, or you can claim your tokens. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, like everything else, you can just claim your tokens, and claiming your tokens is after 24 hours, you can always claim your tokens.
Wow. So this is going to probably help the liquidity and the price, because you're incentivized to wait 369 if this pool gets really big. And like Johnny said, patient incentive pool is better than liquid staking. Extremely fascinating. Like, I've never heard about this mechanic before. This is just absolutely amazing idea. A brilliant idea. I love it.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Thanks,
Yeah.
Steve. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It initially, you know, the thing is, like, initially, thought was, I'm just going to allocate some of the tokens, right? Like straight from the get go. Essentially, I'm going to allocate it in the patient incentive pool. But actually, it's much better to do it through the buy and burn, because now this is a fluctuating supply on top of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 28 days of distribution of full supply of your tokens.
Yes,
Okay, so there's 80% of that allocation is in, how many days is that distributed in?
that's distributed in the first 8 days. I mean,
8 days.
yeah,
Right, right.
8 days. Yes.
So there's still an auction on day 9, but for less
Yes,
tokens.
we just with less tokens, essentially. Yeah, there's less tokens on day 9 all the way to day 28. And the thing is, the game theory is also like, even if you participate in day 9, 10, 11, whatsoever, you're still participating in the patient incentive pool. And if you, like, I mean, obviously this is a game theory now. It's like, if you just decide to just wait longer than anybody who probably participated in the earlier days, you can still outcompete them if you waited just longer. I mean, obviously, I don't know, but this could happen depending on how much this pool is going to be, how big that's going to be.
Right. So what tokens are going to be in the patient's incentive pool?
No, but that's the matrix pool, essentially. It's
So it's matrix tokens.
yeah. You're gonna get more tokens. Gonna get matrix, more matrix tokens. Essentially, this is how it's been built so far.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Because my design decision was, I wanted essentially to incentivize long-term people. And I was thinking, and I think I was talking with Mo yesterday, and I think he liked this idea as well, by the way. But he basically mentioned there's two ways. He mentioned that you can go about this, right? One is just staking, like taxing people, right? And then the other way is just incentivize people. And so here it's more like I'm incentivizing people to just wait longer if they choose to, and it's going to be through this patient incentive pool.
Wow. So the buy and burn burns 95%, puts 5% in here.
Yeah, 5%. So the tokens which are bought by the buy and burn, they are not burned 100% of that. 5% of that goes to the patient incentive pool.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
And
the same way as, let's say, Volt, they send part of that gets sent to the, what is it called?
treasure vault.
The treasure vault. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I send it to the patient incentive pool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's just different mechanic. But I mean, I'm just trying to give you like the analogy, like how that works. Yeah.
Yeah. And after when all the tokens are distributed, and after day 2028,
Yes.
there's no more tokens.
Yep.
How's the buy and burn keep filling up?
Yeah. The buy and burn gets filling up. I mean, first of all, the Titanics, which is coming in from the auction, right? So the Matrix buy and burn has like mainly two tokens, right? One is the Titanics, which is this. It's gonna have also, like, I mean, it's gonna have the kappa swap and an interval. So that's the Titanics, and then you're gonna have Hyper in there as well. And the Hyper is, well, the Titanics will be buying Hyper and then fill up the buy and burn. And also, when the payouts come from the from Hyper, that will also fill up the buy and burn, essentially.
Right. Right. Awesome. So we got ETH or Titan X to enter.
As well. Yes. This is also something here at the beginning here. we went a little bit backwards, but yeah,
Yeah,
we started with the patient incentive pool, but yeah, I think that's also good because I think that was the most thing which where people are asking. So
yeah.
essentially here, you as a user, you're gonna you can enter with Titanix or ETH, and the ETH is just going to buy Titanix straight away, essentially. So in the UI, you have a toggle or like a drop down where you can just choose ETH, and then you when you use your ETH in the background in the smart contract, it just buys Titanix, and then
Oh, I
that Titanix gets
see.
used.
Oh, it's a quick question.
Yes,
If I come in with ETH
yes,
on December the 17th,
yes.
immediately that ETH is then
It
buying
buys
Titanix.
straight. It buys straight Titanix. Yes.
I see. So is the value I get in the protocol determined by how much ETH
Titanix.
Titanx that ETH is worth?
Yeah, yeah. So
Is that right?
Titanix is the base currency.
Yes. So if Titanx is really high, I come with ETH, I get less than if I come with Titanx in a sense, if I have the same.
I mean, essentially, if you come with ETH, then that ETH is going to be converted to Titanix.
Right. So is that an immediate buy?
It's an immediate buy. Yes,
Okay.
it's an
Wow,
immediate
there could
buy.
be some big buys then coming in,
We shall
potentially.
see.
At least the liquidity pool is it's really thick. It's pretty thick.
Yes, yes.
So, unless you come in, it should be good. But
Yeah,
it'd be
yeah.
interesting how that's just going to be immediately buying Titan X. It's going to be that's interesting for Titan X itself.
I think Element 280 have done this before. So
Okay.
yeah, they've done something very similar with that. So I thought that was just a good idea, and I think it's yeah. I mean, the pool is thick enough to like buy. Like I don't think it's like I think there is enough liquidity there for buying Titanix, and I think it's also just a good idea to have this as well because what if somebody wants to participate and they don't have Titanix? And the thing is like, I don't want
Yeah.
him to go to Uniswap or CowSwap or titanixup.com/swap first to exchange, then have the Titanix and then participate. If you have ETH in your MetaMask and you would like to participate, just flick that button, put in your ETH, and then you can deposit and you can enter the auction. And you don't have to exit the website or anything. It's right there.
Yeah, it's taking the barrier down, so it's useful. It's really
I
useful.
think so. Yeah, I think so too. Because it's yeah. I mean, and and the liquidity is thick enough, so it's possible. I mean, if you have like very thin liquidity, like some of the tokens in the ecosystem, depending where you are, you have to be more careful if to do this.
Yes, absolutely, because I think
Yeah.
Flux wanted to do something similar, but
Yeah.
it didn't work out. They wanted to buy Titan X. What did they do? You come in with Titan X into Flux, and they wanted to buy and stake immediately. And I think they could. That was actually quite a good idea.
Yeah.
That buy and stake they were going to do, but it didn't work out, so they did it a different way. But this is opening the gates to everyone who has Ethereum. So that
Absolutely.
and
I mean, I could have added like even Dragonix. I mean, I could have done that too. Actually, when I think about it, I haven't. Yeah, I should have done that as well.
what would DragonX do? Would DragonX buy Titan X?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It would be sell pressure though on DragonX.
I mean, yeah. That's why I didn't want that to do that. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I think everyone would like that one.
Yeah.
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 They have to sell that one for themselves if that's what they want.
Yes, they have to do that. Yeah. We should have, don't 8%, 4%. What's that 4% for?
Exactly. So the 4% is the BOT, like the Bill on Titanix project. So one is Dragonix and Phoenix. So 2%, 2%. Yeah, it's just Titanix going to Dragonix and Phoenix. And the idea here was obviously I'm a Bill on Titanix project, so I need to burn some Titanix so that I'm not even last on my own page on titanixhub.com,
Yeah. You know what? I really like what Phoenix did. they took, I don't know, 10%, or they took their burn allocation and made a Titan X stake. So their project's going to benefit from the Titan X, the ETH rewards in that Titan X stake. I think I look back at Vault, I think, well, I could have used that 5% or 4% in Vault it was, just to do a Titan X stake, and then it would partake in the staking rewards of Titan X. It's kind of smart.
Absolutely.
Yeah, smart idea that.
Yeah.
And so because you're locking up Titan X in a stake, but still your project's still benefiting, so it's like a win-win.
It's a very big win-win.
Yeah.
So I mean, for here, I mean, the reason why I sent it here obviously is like because Dragon X, Phoenix, that Titan X will be forever locked anyway, and those projects will be receiving ETH, and they have to buy Titan X, and buying Titan X will pump up the whole system, and that's the reason I could even do this, right? I mean, that's the whole point of sending it, let's say, to Phoenix or Dragon X, because they are the ones who are going to receive the ETH, and then they're going to pump the whole system, because the ETH entering the ecosystem is just pumping everything up essentially, because we're all leveraged to that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how much ETH comes into Matrix.
Oh, you mean just through the auction, yeah?
Oh, I mean, just through your input auction.
Yeah.
Because since there's no other, this is the first project which has ETH and Titan X. I mean, there's Blaze, but that was a long time ago. It's kind of different.
Yeah.
But this is an option for ETH.
I think Element 280 had it as well, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Yeah, and so did Ouroboros, didn't they?
Ouroboros. Oh yeah. Ouroboros as well. Yeah.
How much? Do you remember how much they got? How much ETH?
Ouroboros 369.
369 ETH.
Yeah, 369 ETH. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Wow, and that's a lot of ETH that came in.
That's
a lot of ETH.
That's I'm not sure how much was that at the time. I don't know. Was it 400K or so or something? I don't know. Or 500K? Another great for something.
Is there going to be because you make beautiful dunes? Have you got a dune dashboard prepared?
I mean, I haven't. I mean, I will do one, but now it's just like the preparation is just going through the check boxes. Like I've made a list, and I'm going through that list 1,000 times.
Yes.
So it will come, but now the main thing is like, okay, I'm going through my list. All the security things are correct, and then all the other things will come.
Yes. Absolutely. But I'd be very interested to know how much ETH in comparison to Titan X comes into your auctions.
I'll definitely have that data for you.
Yeah.
So because the thing is, Steve, as well. I mean, one thing I think probably I don't know, maybe I think you're working on a project, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think you wanted to accept ETH straight away, right? Without any Titan X at all, right?
That was in Blaze, wasn't it? That was actually Blaze.
Oh, that was Blaze. Okay.
That was Blaze. Yeah. That was back many moons ago.
Okay. Yeah. That was
Yeah.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I did have. Yeah. I mean, I think having ETH, like for the wheel, I like to have ETH or Titan X, but there'd be 2 auctions for each. And then it can all go into the liquidity pool.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that was what I was thinking.
Okay.
That's on the drawing.
But the thing is, if they all go to the liquidity pool, I mean, you need to have the right ratio then. Like, I mean, how will you determine that?
The interesting thing, if 50% of the value will go to each auction, whether it's on ETH or Titan X. So it should be about the same. Each day.
Okay.
So the ratio should be the same. If not, it can be rebased because it should be almost the same. Gotcha. Maybe a few percent off and it can be rebased. But once it's in the liquidity pool, it's providing Ethereum Titan X liquidity.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it doesn't matter if people are going to sell down into Titan X into the ETH, because the protocol is just going to be for the wheel, the buy and burn is just going to be using the ETH to buy Titan X, but in a buy and burn. So the ETH will buy Titan X and the Titan X will buy wheel.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter in the ratio and the liquidity pool once it's in there too, which is cool. But
Yeah.
that's a little bit different, because
Yeah.
this is ETH or Titan X, ETH just buying straight away,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
and 4%
Yeah,
to
4%.
burnt,
Yeah,
8% to
4%.
Genesis,
Yeah.
8% to liquidity. And do you have a method? Is this custody? Is this the liquidity wallet of the system?
Illegal is, yeah, I mean, this is one, like it's going to be like a multi-sig, which essentially then I can create additional liquidity pools for that.
Yeah, custody. That's what I meant, custody. So,
Yeah.
Is there a method do you have a plan about how liquidity will be added?
I mean, I mean, for now, essentially, because the one thing which I realized was if you have extremely exotic pairs, which there is no big volume between them yet. I don't know. I think you've seen this yourself with Turbo. I think Dex Screener was acting up a little bit, right? Because
Yes.
there was no additional pools. They could not reference the dollar price.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That was a big challenge. I've had a lot of challenges with this. What I did, so everyone knows in the video and future builders, is I created liquidity pools with just small ones with Turbo. Because what happened is you went to Turbo and there was no USD price. It said liquidity unknown. Liquidity wasn't shown, so it wasn't accurate. And it was just, all you saw was the ratio of turbo and hyper, because it's a turbo hyper pool. So what I did was I created small liquidity pools with like $500 or $1,000, just enough to have movement in them, not just nothing, with turbo Ethereum, turbo USD, turbo Titan X, and also a turbo V2 pool too. So V3 and V2. And I also created a 0.3% pool. So it had all these pools, and then once I did that, about 12 hours later on like day 3, I did it on like day 2.
Yes, I remember.
12 hours later, boom, it showed up, and I was like, yes, because I've seen some coins in the ecosystem which never ever showed up.
Yep.
And I won't say which one it is, but like, I think the solution is right here. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I have the liquidity wallet there as well, to just have these pools as well, so that actually the price can be picked up, because it's a big problem when, I mean, especially like everybody is hanging on Dex Screener, and my price feed as well on Titanic Sub, one of them is Dex Screener. So I was not even able to show the price of Turbo in the beginning as well.
Yeah, right. That is definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
Which is going to be the main liquidity pool pair?
The main liquidity pool is going to be Hyper Matrix.
I see. So that's the biggest thickest one you have.
Yeah. That's the one. Is going to be obviously it's going to start like very low liquidity first, and then obviously the buy and burn is going to be adding more and more and more, and also like when strategically makes sense, probably just adding also more, make it thicker through the liquidity wallet as well.
Yeah, nice. So it'll have liquidity wallet will have Titan X, and the Titan X will buy Hyper and pair it with Matrix.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So that's 20%, and then 80% goes down in this arrow.
Yes, it goes down to this arrow, and 50. So initially in the beginning, 50% is going to be going to the Matrix Vault essentially, and then the other one will be going to the buy and burn.
Wow. So what is the buy and burns? I think I understand the buy and burn.
Yes.
What's this Matrix Vault? What's that?
Exactly. So I mean, this is, so probably let me explain a little bit like what is the goal, right? The goal is to the goal for Matrix is to buy Hyper, stake it, and then the payouts will feed the buy and burn of matrix, and that's how it's gonna maintain. Well, it's gonna be sustainable. I mean, that's the idea. So when 50% comes to this matrix vault, I mean, it's just a function in the matrix vault here, by the way. But essentially, why I drew it like this is so that I can show people that there is going to be a function which a user can call, and there's also a cap per swap and an interval, and that is essentially just buying up hyper and sending it to the matrix vault, and that hyper will be then staked.
Right.
So this is somewhat like very similar like to what Dragon X did. Essentially is also very, very similar, although there they did not have to buy Titanix to stake it because they received Titanix already. I need to buy hyper, right? So I receive Titanix, my input token is Titanix, but then I'll have to start buying up a hyper, which is then going to be staked in the matrix vault later on. And the benefit here is obviously is like I'm buy pressure to hyper.
Wow. So you're buying hyper.
Yes.
In this it's a buy and burn, and it's going to be staked. Is it always going to be 50% of value of that 80%?
So this is probably a bit more different here. So here, as you can see, 50% goes like from that 80%, 50% is going to go to the matrix vault, and that's just going to buy buy hyper and stake it.
Yes.
But essentially, like if there's too much economic energy coming in the auction, there's an option here to change these percentages so that they're a bit more weighted towards the buy and burn. That is also something to mention, because it's also important that because at some point there's only so much in the payouts pools of for hyper, and some of the money, economic energy, would at some point be beneficial, but this is only in the auction time this will be able. Like if I'm just seeing, okay, there's too much money going here, I can change that economic energy to go more towards the buy and burn, which is going to sustain matrix vault as a project, obviously.
Yes. So we have this buying hyper and going into the matrix vault, and then there's a user function, we just call that to stake it. Stake the hyper.
Yes. So here there's actually two function. I just only drew one of them, but one is for staking, yes, and then the other one is just for claiming in the payout days as well. This is the only thing I drew here. I should have added that one as well, by the way.
Right. And so the claimed hyper goes down here, and does that all go to the buy and burn?
It doesn't, not all of it. So when in the payouts, so just probably also to just mention that it is going to be max stakes 3,500 days, and the max stakes is going to be 100 billion hyper, so that why 100 billion and not more is because we can get the 8% extra shares. Bigger pays more. There's a bonus for that, by the way. So they're going to be max stakes, and whenever those stakes come due, they will be restaked again.
Right. Yes, I see. So 50% goes back into the matrix vault.
Yes. So there is like in the payouts, 4% to Genesis, 50%, and the rest, 96%, 50% of that goes back to the matrix vault and will be restaked again.
Yes. And the other 50% goes into the buy and burn.
To the matrix buy and burn, yeah. And that is essentially which is going to sustain the matrix buy and burn. So initially the injection is from the Titanix coming in, and then in the payouts the hyper will be then used to buy and burn hyper matrix.
Brilliant. So the hyper buy and burn. So there's 3 buy and burns.
Well, not directly. So this up here is actually just a buy hyper with Titanix for matrix vault.
Yes.
So it's not a burn, but it's like buy and send to matrix vault.
Yes. And then there's a Titanix to hyper, and there's a hyper to matrix.
Titanics to Hyper and Hyper. Yes, 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 yes.
Oh, right,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
So on the 17th,
Yes.
what's the total supply of all the tokens, by the way?
The total supply. I think we can just switch to the to the white paper here as well to just go. I just wanted to be sure. Is so total maximum supply is 1 billion.
Right. So for 8 days, there's 100 million a day. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
And then for the rest of the 20 days, how many every day?
Exactly. So that's I have percentages in my head. So
Yes.
80% is it's gonna be in the first 8 days, right? Like every day 100 million, and then for the rest 20 days is going to be 18% of that will be distributed, and that is per day. I think it should be written here. Um, I only have the percentages in my head the whole time.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
Let me see, just here, 18.
18.
Okay. Here.
Oh yeah.
9
Yes.
million on day 9 onwards to 20, day 28. I just wanted to be sure. I didn't want to give out a
Ah, I
number which
see.
is
I
wrong.
see. So what about the other 2%?
2%
80%.
is, yeah, the other 2% goes to the liquidity wallet.
Oh, got you. Got you. Yes. Good idea.
Yeah.
Because you need two sides of your liquidity.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
I mean, exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I need
yes.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so that makes sense. So 100 million a day to day 8, and day 9 you only got 9 million. So
Yes.
it's going to be interesting how price discovery happens. So on day 1, it's just an auction, and
Yes.
you just decide you just decide what it's given proportionally to the amount comes in.
Yes.
Brilliant. I think that's all. I understand it. I really like this the patience pool.
Yeah. Patient incentive for.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
that's locking up coins for the. It's a win-win for people who want to. It's like yeah, it's a better form of staking. It's really interesting.
I
So
think so. I think so. I
yeah,
mean, and I think the idea is pretty good. I mean, we'll have to see how it works out, like in reality. But I think it's a good idea, and I also like other builders. I mean, there is variation of this which you can build on your project as well. I mean, run with the idea as well. I mean, I was talking to Mo yesterday. I think this is a good idea, uh, and you can do a lot of variation of this, right? I mean, mine was what you could do is, for instance, you can give the user an option straight in the beginning when they enter the auction. You can give them like, hey, lock me up for 30 days. You can give them an
Mhm.
option directly, or lock me up for 30, 60, or 90 days. But it's the user's options that they choose themselves, and then they get, I don't know, more shares, for instance.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's useful. It's a good thing. I did something similar on the wheel actually.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. I called it Claim Storm, and
Okay. Okay.
yeah, they can. Yeah, I'll share it with you some other time. It's interesting.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. If I do that one, it's there. But yeah, man, this is awesome. Also, so
Yeah.
December the 17th
Yes.
launch 5 p.m. UTC,
Yes.
and yeah, man, I just wish you the best on this project, and
Thank
I'm
you.
looking forward to seeing the front end. Isn't you're
Yeah,
not?
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah. There's a lot to
I
be.
have some few ideas there as well, which I think. I mean, I like them, sure, but obviously I'm very
Yeah,
biased. I like the things which I build,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So probably one more thing which I have forgotten to say is that I mean, here you see the matrix vault, right? Similarly, like to the Dragon X vault, right? Dragon X vault, you can send in Titan X there, right? And then that would be staked forever. For matrix, I wanted to have more optionality, and the more optionality is if somebody or if a project or even myself decide to build on top of matrix, you can send Titanix, ETH, or Hyper in that matrix vault. Whatever you send in there, at some point it will Hyper will be bought and will be staked forever. So that's something important just for the people to there, is like I wanted to have a very solid base. If project's going to be built on top of it, on top of matrix, it's that vault is like it can accept pretty much anything, like anything as in Titanix, ETH, and Hyper. Those are the big ones anyway. And this is also the buy and burn also accept all of these as well. You can, the matrix buy and burn, if you send in, if a project or if I'm doing something and I choose to send in Titanix there, you can send in Titanix, ETH, or Hyper, and at some point it obviously in an interval it will buy. If you send ETH, it's going to buy a Titanix, and then that Titanix will buy Hyper, and then the buy and burn will trigger at some point then.
Superb. So any project can send these coins into this vault for it to
pretty
be
much, yeah, pretty much. And the idea is, for instance, like I mean, I'm innovating on titanixhub.com. So if there's something, I mean, I am working on something there, but if something there works out for whatever reason, like I mean, there are some few ideas, but I need to work on them first, and if they do work, and if there's some ETH generated there for whatever reason because of some ideas which I might be working on, well, maybe some of that can be sent to the matrix buy and burn, you know.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Man, this is it's great just to see. I remember the inception to now. It's taken a lot of effort and thought got into it, and yeah, thanks for sharing. I've got to wind this up because I've got my little one.
Absolutely.
Got my little one to put to bed.
No worries. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Thank you. Thanks for the invitation, yeah, nice talking to you every time, man. And you're invited, man, for your next project.
Awesome. Love to. Yeah, man. We're talking soon. And hey, guys, everyone watching, Matrix launching on the 17th. Yes. Mike Dean, into the Matrix.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.